Your testimony, what caught my eye is basically statements found at page 3 and 4 of your testimony, where you spoke in particular about the ability to fast track, and in the situation of the ARRA funding, how you basically expedited the NEPA process, whether that be through some sort of EA process or EIS process. Can you explain to me exactly how this expedited, I think you call it permitted for infrastructure projects, how that's working and how the pilot is actually functioning right now?
Well, thank you. We believe that that there's both opportunity and real commitment to make progress, to make NEPA work better. It's been a real focus for CEQ. In a number of areas, we've issued guidance since I became chair to clarify for agencies where there are flexibilities in NEPA that they can take advantage of. And you referenced the Recovery Act, and we found that the vast majority of Recovery Act projects were completed their NEPA on time and were able to deliver the projects on time. And so we've been working on a number of different areas through setting up with agencies, interagency rapid response teams to ensure that agencies are focused on high priority projects. The President issued a memorandum last August directing agencies particularly to focus on high priority infrastructure projects, to track those, and to work on expediting the approvals of that. And just yesterday I signed some additional NEPA guidance, again to point out to agencies where there are opportunities for efficiencies in the NEPA process.
Now, one of the issues, as I recall, the ARRA, or what we call the stimulus legislation, was that the projects that were being, I guess, done by the state levels, because that's where the basic authority went to the respective governors, was the fact that the projects themselves have to be technically shovel-ready. So if they're shovel-ready, I assume by that, and it's something that you just said, is that the NEPA compliance, I guess whether environmental assessment or a FONSI or something, has been complied with already. So I'm trying to understand how then do you step in and accelerate that process, and more importantly than that, you know, what authority do you see yourself having the ability to somehow modify NEPA, which is an existing law? Because on page 4, where you talk about this January project with the DOT, January 2012, a pilot project to cut costs and fast track, I'm trying to see how the NEPA process has been modified in what you're doing, if it's been modified at all.
Well, to the Recovery Act, what we found, and we reported to Congress quarterly on NEPA and the Recovery Act, that about 96% of the projects, the Recovery Act projects, used categorical exclusions, which is the sort of lightest touch of NEPA in evaluating those, in complying with NEPA and evaluating those projects. And that only 1% of those projects required an environmental impact statement, and those were completed. CEQ has authority under NEPA to basically to help the agencies comply with NEPA. That by and large compliance with NEPA is done by the agencies, but that CEQ interprets both the statute and CEQ's own regulations and provides advice to agencies on how to interpret NEPA. So, in the example that you referenced, we have set up this pilot program to try to look at best NEPA practices, where agencies have used techniques, whether it's through using information technology or bringing stakeholders in early to help to expedite the NEPA process. And we've been working with the Department of Transportation on what's a big project that involves a number of states and a number of different jurisdictions to help bring all of that together to make sure that we're both meeting the our environmental needs and helping make sure this project goes through.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My time's up, but I'd like to request that the chair provide us in writing exactly how the process is working, what evaluation, and I'm also curious as to whether or not there have been legal challenges to whatever they may have done in terms of waiving the NEPA process or making determinations that it could go into this special category. Thank you, Mr.
I think that's a good request, and I would hope that the chairwoman would follow up on that to all the committee, I might add.